The more you know yourself, the better equipped you are to make choices that support you and that support your life. And it doesn't matter if you're wanting to make choices for your healing, for the healing of your body, for the healing of your mind, or whether you're wanting to make choices around your work, your livelihood, your relationships, your finances. The more you know yourself, and there's this old saying, know thyself, the better off you are. And I think that this world wants us to always be looking outside for what we should be doing and what we should be pursuing and what we should be thinking. And I think the more we begin to actually look at ourselves and look within, the more we're in a position to move from a place of power and to move from the truth, whether that is around our healing. What should I be eating? What is the best time for me to go to bed? What supplements support me? What are the most healing practices for my body? You need to obtain that information here, not out there. You can start out there and get ideas out there, but then this is your ultimate laboratory where you can run experiments, gentle, loving, titrated experiments where you discover what works for me and how can I build on that. The same is true in terms of what you need in a broader sense. What do I need to be well? I often give clients this example that I need order and simplicity to be at my best. As you can see in my teaching and therapy sanctuary, I need order and simplicity. That's me knowing myself. I know that when I am in an environment that is chaotic and there is stuff everywhere, I find that dysregulating. I find that discombobulating. So that is one of the ways for me that knowing myself helps me to meet my need for order, meet my need for simplicity. Another area of life that this works is in terms of our values. And this is such an important, such a critical area if you want to experience joy and if you want to have a fulfilling life and a life of meaning. You need to know, what is it that you value? And when we speak of values, we're speaking about what matters most. What would you die for? Or optimally, what would you live for? What is worth living for you? And one of my values that I discovered through knowing myself is that I value beauty. And so I can create beauty in my environment, or I can pay attention to beauty, whether that's dressing in certain colors or surrounding myself with beauty in my space or going out and being in a beautiful environment outside. So, what is it that you value? What matters it to you? Is it connection? Is it beauty? Is it making an impact, being of service? So, the moment that you really start to know yourself, you can then put things in place in your world. You can make choices in your world that support the highest expression of who you are. And in my work as a soul-centered psychotherapist, I believe that values are not only what matters to you, but that values actually point to who you are. Because what we love points to who we are and what we are. So you can begin to create a life that is an expression of your truest self by following those little breadcrumbs on the trail of what do I love, what matters to me, what lights me up. So knowing thyself is probably one of the most valuable things you can do. And this is why in my work, I love to facilitate voyages of discovery, voyages of self-discovery, because I don't have the answers for you, but I can help, and a lot of practitioners can help to point us back towards ourselves. And I believe that this is some of the highest service that we can do for each other, is hold space for discovery, for self-discovery, and hold space with these potent, big questions that help us to go within and get the answers that only we have for ourselves. Get the answers that we must discover for ourselves, answers that cannot be obtained through the outside, They cannot be obtained through scrolling or reading books or anything like that. Although, again, that might give us clues or inklings or hints. But we must do this voyage, this journey of self discovery to know ourselves. And part of that is knowing our bodies, what works for my body. Part of that is knowing what's going on up here in my mind. What are my thoughts up to? Part of that is knowing ourselves emotionally. Where do I have some unresolved owies, some unresolved emotional charge? What is it that I love most? And some of the most potent self discovery that we can do has to do with our essence, our soul, our true self. Who am I really? Why am I here? What lights me up? What do I like to do with my days? These are things that help us to organize and orient around a life that is truly ours, a life that reflects who we are. But to create that life, we must first know thyself. And then we must take courageous steps, take courageous actions with the information, the knowledge that we obtain. It takes courage to live a life that is truly ours. It takes courage to truly be ourselves, especially when it looks different than others. This takes courage. I hope there was a little gem in here for you today and that you are inspired to get to know this precious, miraculous being that you are. I believe we are all a beautiful mystery waiting to be discovered and waiting to unfold. Lots of love to you wherever you are today out in this world.